Hello! Today is Sunday, April 27, 2025, and I'm Jason Shapiro with crowdmarketreport.com. Today I want to take a little look at Bitcoin. And let me start by saying I am not a Bitcoiner. I don't spend my days reading the white paper and pushing this Bitcoin thing. And I approach looking at Bitcoin the same way that I approach looking at any other market that I am trying to analyze for risk reward, which is to say I like to look at positioning to see where potential risk reward trades can be. And I look at sort of what people believe the fundamentals are, both bulls and bears. I like to listen to both sides. And then most importantly, I like to watch the tape and see how the market is reacting to various things that are theoretically driving the price of this asset. And in particular, I like to see when a market does better than it should, given the underlying news flow, or does worse than it should, given the underlying news flow. Because I believe the ultimate judge of a market is what the market is actually doing. If a market's going to go much higher, then clearly it has to start doing that by going higher. And if it's going to go much lower, it has to start to do that by starting to go lower. The tape is the ultimate judge, and that's what I like to watch more than anything else. So thinking about Bitcoin, first of all, from a positioning standpoint, this is the positioning chart for Bitcoin and the price. And we can see this is going back to sort of early 2023. The places that I like to look at the most are here, right? Which is where speculators, these blue lines here, started to get pretty short, and they were shorting into what was this move up here. And as they did that, the market kept going higher, right? Because they get short, the market moves up, they get squeezed out of those shorts. And then the positioning kind of here went neutral, and Bitcoin went nowhere. And then once again, this was pre-election, sort of in the fall of last year. Bitcoin started to move up again, and speculators started to sell into it again, and we got this really big pop higher. And then the positioning went kind of neutralish, right? To long even, and Bitcoin came off. But what's happened recently is, once again, you can see this blue line's going negative. Speculators are once again selling into the rally in Bitcoin. Okay, which I see as a positive sign, net, moving forward. All right, so that's a positioning view. From a tape reading performance type of view, I mean, Bitcoin has been said to be, and I have said this, another risk asset. Risk assets, and in particular correlated to tech stocks. Those go down, Bitcoin goes down. Those go up, Bitcoin goes up. And I have said on quite a few videos that I would be looking for a break of that, either way, to really make a tape decision based on Bitcoin. Well, we've certainly had that, as the markets were struggling, as the stock market was struggling, Bitcoin was going down, but it started to outperform pretty dramatically about 3 weeks ago. Stocks continued to go down. Bitcoin was holding, outperform relative basis. And then sort of last Monday, when everybody started to freak out on the stock market again because Donald Trump was saying he's going to replace the Treasury secretary and all that, Bitcoin actually jumped higher. So there's the tape saying something, right? And if we go back, year to date, I'm looking, Bitcoin's flat. MSTR is up 23% on the year. QQQs are down 7.5% on the year. That's outperformance, whether you like it or not, right? Since election day, which when we had a big pop in all assets, including Bitcoin, and this is from the day after election day, so after the election day pop, right? QQQs are down 6.5% in that time period. MSTR is up 43% since then, since the day after the election. And Bitcoin's up 26%. So that is outperformance. Okay. You can't argue with that. Can it change? Sure. But for now, at the very least, the tape is saying Bitcoin is good, right? And just to get into the MSTR thing a little bit, it's very easy and it's very fun and I have done it, to point out that MSTR has some things that are similar to past sort of bubbles and Ponzi schemes. And that's fine. If you want to believe that, that's fine. I'd love to believe that. But if it's a Ponzi scheme implying that it's eventually going to zero, it doesn't start by, outperforming the QQQs by 50%, okay, over 6 months, right? It doesn't start by outperforming the QQQs by 30% year to date, right? If it is a Ponzi scheme and if it's going to zero, it will start to underperform first, all right? It's not going to go to zero in a day. It's going to start by underperforming first, but it's not what it's doing. It's outperforming first, okay? Which means to me, shorting it is a silly, silly idea here, right? And if you want to be long it, this is a good time to be long it from a risk reward perspective, all right? This is just tape reading, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. And I want to again say I am no Bitcoiner. I don't take sides on any asset that I trade. I listen, I watch, and I watch the tape, and I go with the tape. That's how I trade. I'm a trader. I'm a tape reader. And this is what the tape is saying here for Bitcoin, okay? So those are my thoughts there. Always happy to hear questions and comments. Please check us out, crowdedmarketreport.com. And I hope everybody has a good week. Thank you.